Okay, now let's talk about our opportunity factor formula. This is where we bring kind of all the math, all the survey elements, everything together after the speed analysis and cost analysis. We take all that data that we've created for projects that we're thinking about, for competitors that we've looked into. We take all that data and we're going to give it a score of what I call an opportunity factor to how great this opportunity is or how likely we are or what I believe that we should be going after it or should not based on how it ranks versus other opportunities that we're considering. So the formula is pretty straightforward. So we're going to take speed and a value of days. So after you do the speed analysis of all those 20 elements, or if there are other elements in a project you're considering, how many total days do you think it will take you to get to market to be able to start selling the thing that you want to sell? When you take all the days into account of how many days it will take, what's the total number of days? If we take in the total cost it will take to bring it to market, whether it's $1,500 or $500 or $5,000, doesn't matter. Whatever the cost is, we're going to multiply it by the number of days. So let's say it takes 30 days to get something to market from a time perspective and $1,000 in total cost. So that creates a value of $30,000, even though, or $30,000. It doesn't matter, but 30,000. So we're going to take that 30,000 number and then we're going to multiply it by the project value. Now, how you get the project value is we take as many of these as we can from the deconstruction, the 43-point survey, and we try to, and if we have the answers for them, we assign these points. So if we know that their traffic is more than 50% from SEO, we add 10 points to the project value. If it's less than 50%, we take away 10 points. If they're selling a main physical product, it's plus 10 points. If it's a digital product, it's minus 10 points. If they sell more than one product, like within the upsell, downsell, all that, so it's not just one product with the basic funnel, we add 3 points per number for each product that they're selling. If it's a single product, we take away 15 points. If they have a large team, probably more than 3 or 4 people, we want to give it 10 points. If they have a small team, which is less than 3 or 4 people, we do a minus 10 points. If the business is older than 5 years, we can usually tell that from the domain as well as using waybackmachinaarchive.org to kind of look at their past history. If they seem to be older than 5 years, we add 7 points. If they're younger than 5 years, we take off 7 points. So we're doing a running total of all these points, plus 10, minus 10, plus 5, minus 7, whatever it is. And then we're going to add up all those points and just get one number. So if they seem to be spending more than $500,000 a month, that's plus 10. If they seem to be spending less than $500,000 a month, it's minus 10. If their initial customer order is around $1,000, that's going to be plus 5. If it's less than $1,000, it's minus 5. If they have back-end products that they start selling us, it's plus 10. No back-end, it's minus 10. If they have a continuity offer, it's plus 10 points. If there's no continuity offer, it's minus 10. If they have their own affiliate program, it's plus 10. If they don't have an affiliate program, we take off 10. And last but not least, if they have upsells, it's plus 10. If there are no upsells, it's minus 10. So we add up all those numbers. Let's say we get a total value of 200 or 100. Let's just make it 100 for simple sake. You could end up with a negative number. It's not very likely because you usually get a lot of the plus ones as well. But let's say you get all negatives. That's fine. It doesn't matter. You're going to use a negative number. But we're going to multiply that speed versus cost. We already said, let's say it's 30 days. We already said maybe it's $1,000 to get started. So that gives us an initial number of 30,000. We multiply 30,000 times the total number of points. So if you have 100 points, it's 30,000 times 100 points. So that comes out to 3 million. So 30,000 times 10 is 300,000. 30,000 times 100 would be 3 million. So the opportunity factor formula value, the factor formula value for this project itself, our factor number would be 3 million. That's the point total. So if we analyze another one, maybe it has more days and more cost, but it's being multiplied by a negative number because it's got all these other things that are favorable to it, then we may end up with a smaller number than 3 million. We do another one, let's say it comes out to 5 million. We do another one, let's say the factor formula number comes out to 200,000. The lower the number, the better. That's why these negative points, it seems like they're negative, they're not. You want negatives. Negative points in the math makes the total factor number smaller at the end. So when we analyze a few of these different opportunities, the smaller the number we can find, the better. Now, there's no base formula for what's a good number. Should it be under 5 million? Should it be under 10 million? There isn't really one because cost and speed can make it change so much. But when you're considering multiple opportunities, it's a good way for you to rank them to see which ones seem more favorable with this math. Now, if you end up with a very, very high project value, like a lot of positive points, like if you come up with a project value of, a minute ago I used 100 for just a basic example. You definitely don't want 100. If you end up with 100, you don't even want to go near that project. I should have clarified that. I'm sorry about that. But typically, if the project value points, when you add all this stuff up, if it ends up being like 60 points or higher, that's not good. You really want it to only be around maybe 40, 50 or less. You don't want to end up with, think about it. You don't want more than 50% of their stuff to be from SEO. You don't want them to have a large team. You don't want them to spend more than 500K. That's 30 points right there. You don't want them to have all these other things that may be hard for you for you to emulate. So the lower number, the better. But that's how we come up with what I consider the opportunity factor number. And when we look at and analyze opportunities, that's how you're going to it's like a KEI score almost for search engine rankings. If you remember the old KEI, the Keyword Effectiveness Index, of how likely you were to get something to rank, it's very similar. It's more like how likely you are to be able to compete and do business and have a chance to, make money as well in those areas by competing with these competitors that have these different values that you're considering. But do a dry run as an example. Pick a competitor, try to do the 43-point survey as best you can, as quickly as you can. Back ends, things like that take time. You would have had to buy from them to figure out what they sell. Don't worry about that right now. Don't buy from them, but just try to figure out the other stuff and start seeing what kind of numbers that you can come up with for the total opportunity factor value. But I would, just for a general range, because I know I'm going to get that question, I would look for something kind of in the 5 million total scored value and under is probably a good rule of thumb. Those numbers can obviously change based on cost values a lot and speed values a lot. If there's a project like supplements that may cost $7,000 for you to get into that business because you have to buy inventory, and you may have to wait 45 days to get the stuff. This beginning part here is already a huge, huge value, the speed times cost. So you're going to end up with a large project value number, but that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't go after the opportunity. But it's really, this just gives us kind of a general scoring process for scoring opportunities to compare them to each other. But ultimately, there are some no-goes here. If we see traffic more than 50%, you almost don't want to go into that opportunity. You can still try it, and these other things may weigh in your favor if it's only a single product business and stuff, but you should really kind of maybe think hard about not doing it. If they have a large team, it's another one you may think about not doing it. If they have a giant monthly ad spend, that's another red flag that you may want to consider something else instead. Doesn't always mean that. Just because they spend a lot of money each month doesn't mean that you can't do it on a smaller scale and compete and make good money. But again, these are considerations that you need to make. So anyways, that's the opportunity factor formula, and kind of use that math to kind of hone in and rank different opportunities that you're considering, and it'll really help you.